Welcome in. Hello, Clippers Talk After Dark. I guess it's only 9:30 compared to 1:30. We're on after the first game at Intuit Dome on Monday night. This is nothing. This is light work. The night is young. Full of terror. No, nothing that serious. I just wanted to get on and talk a little bit about some of the comments coming out today from one of the assistant coaches in Brian Shaw. Felt like there was enough people responding to a few of my tweets earlier. Maybe I should get online. Maybe see what's use the word that James Harden just said regarding the Intuit Dome the other night. It's cracking. It's on cracking. If you guys wanna release the Kraken in the chat. Oh, Sal's in first. I like it. JJ the boys. What's up, Adam? What's up, JJ? Is this Reddit? Not really. Good to have you guys in here. Appreciate. Just had a few thoughts before I watch something bad TV, bad movie tonight. For some reason, watching scary movies, whether it's Halloween season or not, it helps me sleep easier. It makes me feel like life ain't so bad. I'm not in Terrifier 1, 2, or 3. Life not so bad. Yeah, Kawhi's not back yet, but life's not so bad. We're okay. Jonathan Ing says, "What's good, Adam?" Okay, we got some regulars in here. I like this. Appreciate you guys. I knew there were some night owls here and some people after the Dodger game that wanted to talk Clippers. Earlier today, if you missed it, you shouldn't have. There's still time. Trust me. Darian Vizio was on from Locked On Clippers, as I was on with him on Locked On Clippers before that. So a little home and home. We went for over an hour on here, talking about the Clippers, talking about basketball convictions a little bit, him ranting on Mike D'Antoni, talking about his discontent for him and his offense and what he did to the game. And we went old school versus new school a little bit with actual clips that I brought up and played, talking about how much offenses would try to exploit the rules and leverage the rules back in the 80s and 90s, how embarrassing it was at times. But you guys don't want to talk about that. You just think it was all handshake. Joe Rosenfeld says, last time the Clippers have been this fun. In preseason, year has not started yet, my friend. I would pump the brakes a little bit, just a tad, because we aren't even a week into the regular season. Jonathan Ing said, my wife will only let me stay up longer for so much. For so much longer? Okay. Well, you need that hall pass to be on here with me on Clippers Talk. Joe Rosenfeld said, Bill Simmons putting the Clippers under 37.5 wins. Disgusting take by Bill, a season ticket holder with the Clippers. I mean, how many games is Kawhi going to play? It's Clippers Talk After Dark. It's supposed to look. This is for the theme, for the effect. It's Clippers Talk After Dark. Deuce Bell wants to get in here. Do so then. All you had to do was click on the link. I just put it out. Deca Fantastic said, sup. Cali 2025 said, LOL. We got some new people, some regulars. Our friend from Japan. Love seeing that. What time is it there? Is it 12 hours ahead? Is it 9:30 in the morning? Just had a buddy who came back. That would be Will Updike. Yeah, a couple things to talk about from Brian Shaw and what he said today at practice. And we'll play some of that audio for you in just a little bit. But also La Murray of The Athletic, who made some comments that tie in with some of the stuff that Brian Shaw was talking about. Okay, let's start with this as people are trickling into the channel. Welcome into a Clippers Talk Live, after dark, no less. I already messed up the question where I wanted to get it to, because I know once I get it there, I can't hear it again. I think this is it. You guys tell me here. I think I timestamped it well enough to where it's the Norman Powell question from Tomera Zarli. Deca Fantastic said Bill Simmons has been washed for a decade. Yachting Tears said, sounds like people saying it might be Norm and Derrick Jones Jr. with Kawhi when he comes back. Makes sense now since they need a bit more scoring with PG gone And now the bench has KPG, so it doesn't need Norm. Again, the regular season hasn't even started yet. I am high on KPJ. After Coach Lou made his comment regarding him at Media Day, saying if we're going to be successful, he's going to have to make a big impact or be a big part of that. So I certainly believe that they want him to be a big part of what the Clippers are doing this season. We also don't know if he's going to get suspended yet. So a lot of things still up in the air. But let's start with this from Brian Shaw, because this to me is a great comment about Norman Powell and the way the coaching staff is challenging him, because he finally got what he wanted, to be a star, to be a starter, to be relied upon for his scoring, but now he's got to play defense. Listen to this from Brian Shaw earlier today, and let me know if you guys are hearing this okay, and if it is the comment.
I think Norm is in a place that he's always wanted to be, as a starter. And so now he's going to get what he asked for. He's a guy, obviously, we know that he can score the ball. He's going to have to show that he can defend at a high level at that position that he plays, because night in and night out at the two-guard position, there's high-level scorers, so he's going to have to show the same tenacity that he plays with on the offensive end. He's going to have to display that on the defensive end as well.
I couldn't hear it, but I had already listened to the clip. I love what they're saying here about Norman Powell and challenging him to play better defense. That's it. He plays better defense. He can replace some of what they lost from Paul George. That would be a huge solution right there for this team, and I think that's why they're granting him this big opportunity to start. Because the easiest way to make up for the loss of Paul George, no one guy can do it, but the guy that could be taking up the biggest slice of the pie to fill in the cracks of some of the stuff Paul George did would be Norman Powell. We know he can score. We know how efficient he is. But if he can play defense too, now you're in business. And why can't he? Considering he used to. Considering he still moves fine. Considering he still gets downhill. Gets up for dunks. Was it the windmill against, who was that against last season? Minnesota. At the end of a game, everybody was like, no, don't do it. I think it put him up by 4. But he threw down a windmill at the end of the ball game. Still has the hops. Still has explosiveness. I think he's 31 now. There's no reason Norman Powell cannot play better defense. It has been one of the big question marks for me for a while. Like, why isn't he? Why hasn't that manifested itself or developed as a Clipper? We've joked on Clips and Dip that it's because he had to stop in Portland. As Todd Tate says, good evening, Adam. What's up? Appreciate y'all. Get in here. Thanks for letting me know the audio was working just fine. I'll have some more for you in just a little bit from Brian Shaw. Before we get to KPJ, before we get to James Harden, I want to stick with Norm here. Decca Fantastic brings up a fantastic point. Norm has said for years he wants to be an all-star. He knows that means both sides of the floor. Let's give him that chance. And that's what Brian Shaw was saying at the beginning of that clip there. You heard it. It was almost like, be careful what you wish for. You want to start? You want to get buckets? That means you have to guard other teams' guards. Often, that's how it works. Was it 42 or 43 in Game 3 against the Suns that they should have won? There was a take foul on Russell Westbrook by Devin Booker that ended up in a turnover. While he was raising his hand, the ref didn't see it somehow. That game frustrates me. There is no defense for why Norman Powell has not been playing better defense. There isn't. He's capable. He did it at UCLA, guys. He wasn't a scorer then. It's a miracle he's turned into such an efficient player on the offensive end now. He wasn't projected to be this guy. He made his name on defense. So get back to it. It's that simple. It's all in front of you. All you have to do is do what you've been doing on offense, and now mix in above average defense, and the job is yours. Ooh, I kind of like this comp. Joe Rosenfeld said Norman's opportunity is at Desmond Bain's level of production. That's a decent comp for Norm Powell. I like that. Are you saying Desmond Bain or Demon Bain? Desmond Bain has had a quick rise in just his fourth season. Last year, he was getting 24 points per game. Now he was hurt a lot. He only played 42 of them. The year before that, he was 22 a game, played 58 games. So he's had some injury issues. But his second year, he was already getting 18. Plays shooting guard. Similar size. He's bigger than Norm Powell, but the games are similar. It's a quick get it and go. Desmond Bain getting downhill for layups, threes. That is a similar style of play to Norman Powell. I really like that. This is why I love doing these. I learned something too. Jonathan Ing said, like you said earlier, Adam, Norm needs to average or slightly above average, needs to be average or slightly above average on defense, and we're good. That's it. That's it. I think I fixed the audio now. I had the YouTube still running in the background, taking up bandwidth. Deca Fantastic, yeah. Thanks for the reminder on that. Julio Rodriguez says double A 24/7. Shout out BTB, Vic the Brick Jacobs, giving me the name double A. I second Adam's audio sounding a bit choppy. I think it's going to work now. Jonathan Ing also seconded the comp with Desmond and Norman Bain. Excuse me, Norman Powell and Desmond Bain. Yeah, Desmond Bain's bigger, but Norman Powell, their offensive game is very similar. Ryan Garcia says hi. Hi, Ryan. Way better. We're good now. It was my bad. I had the YouTube still running in the background. Thanks, Adam. We good. Way better. Audio good now. Okay. See, little call response. You guys let me know how we're doing on the technical side. Yeah, man, that Desmond Bain comment, that got to me. Now, he's been given a bigger opportunity the last couple of years because John Morant in and out of the lineup. And it's probably a blessing in disguise because now Memphis knows what they have there. Desmond Bain is a bucket. Norman Powell, a bucket getter. Someone who can fill it up with ease. The 40-point game against Phoenix, it snuck up on you. Oh, wow. Norm's already at 30? Oh, wow. Now he's at 40? His efficiency level is special. Desmond Bain, also a very efficient scorer. Norman Powell last season shot 44% from three. Desmond Bain, 38%. But he was with the starting unit, going up against first units often. So it's going to be more difficult. I don't expect Norman Powell to shoot 44% from three. Can we get 41? Can we still get slightly above 40% on a little bit higher volume this season? That's all I'm asking for. That's what I want to see from Norm. And then 18 to 20 points per game. Look, this makes everybody's job easier on offense. If Norman Powell, and he will be in the starting lineup, and what was interesting from Law was also talking about how, and we'll have an update on Mo Bamba in a little bit here, but he said, Law Murray said, whenever Kawhi Leonard returns, Norman Powell is expected to retain his starting job. He's in the PG role. I don't disagree with that. I'm guessing he had some inside knowledge or just educated guessing there. Law's not wrong very often. People saying Norm is a better shooter than Bain and Bain's the better ball handler. Facts. Both those. Definitely. I think Norm has a quicker, more fluid shot. I do. You remember the game winner he almost had against the Lakers? Was it right before overtime in their first game? I want to say Norm put on a show a little bit. He's had those right wing threes at the end of the shot clock or the end of a quarter last season. He kind of had a knack for those. Norman Powell is a special scorer. And I love the fact he's getting this opportunity. I know there was some trepidation and hesitancy towards having him out there because of defensive purposes with him and James Harden. But if this is what the coaching staff is preaching and everything is about defense with Jeff Van Gundy holding everyone accountable 1 through 15, as Brian Shaw said earlier today on that end of the floor, always. And the dangling carrot is Norm. Play defense and you can be the starter. This is it. This is what you always wanted, right? Just get back to doing what you used to do. You did it with Toronto. I don't know what habits he picked up in Portland from CJ and Dame, but it didn't work. They were all offense, no defense. And he brought some of that mentality to the Clippers. I'm not saying it has been, for the most part, below average, slightly below. Not awful, but not up to the standard of what I expected from Norman Powell, to be honest. JJ the Boys says, feel like the Clippers picking up Van Gundy from Boston might be the best move of the offseason. Just by the preseason, you can tell Norm picked up the defensive intensity. He has. Everyone has. The first time I noticed it was against Pods on Golden State in Honolulu, preseason game number 1. He had that far side short corner block on him, just swatted the ball out of bounds like he was Kai Jones or something. Yeah, we're already comparing guys to Kai Jones as like he's the standard now. When you've had as many blocks and emphatic ones as he has in the preseason, I'm going to show Kai some love. I'm happy for the young man. This is Norman Powell's big moment. It is time to perform. It's not like we haven't seen it in spurts when they have been missing Kawhi or PG or both of them. The Phoenix series is a perfect example. He wasn't consistent, though. If I go back to that, in the last 3 games without Kawhi Leonard, I just want to check this out for reference sake and to jog my memory. It was 42 in game 3. First 2 games with Kawhi, 14 points, 12 points. But he went from 42 down to 14 and was just 4 of 15 in game 4, where he had a much bigger role, was asked to do more. He had 5 personal fouls in that game also. 1 assist to 3 turnovers, struggled. You're going up against everybody's best when you're starting, especially in a playoff series like this where they've game planned for you and you know who you're running into game after game. That's even harder. But he kind of bounced back in game 5 with 27. Okay. He shot 8 of 17, 3 of 7 from the outside. That's fine. He was in foul trouble again. Wonder if that is indicative of a higher defensive effort, because Coach Lue talked about getting back to playing like he did defensively in that series against Phoenix recently. So it may happen, but 39 minutes there, 37 minutes in game 4, 41 minutes in the game where he had 42 points in game 3. Norm can do a lot for you. His wind is great. He's one of the hardest workers and easiest guys to get behind and root for, because you know he puts in the work, and the coaching staff is trying to reward that right now. And it's not some, I don't know. It's not some Bronny James situation exactly. Some token minutes or starting role now. This is deserved. This is earned. This is Norman Powell not just being next in line. I don't think they're doing it because of that. They're doing it because he's capable. That's what this is about. He is. I've been frustrated with his defense. I've made it known on Clippers Talk the last couple of years on the podcast side. Now we have the YouTube. Like, he should be better defensively, consistently. Good hands, long arms. Yeah, he's smaller. He's listed as, I think, 6'3". And the Clippers have always been 6'4". A little bit leery of smaller guards because they know they can get picked on. Roster construction, partly, when it goes back to them not finding the right guard or whatever for 2-1-3, even though that really wasn't the issue. They were going to win in 2021, regardless if Rondo kept playing or not when he was really bad in the playoffs. But they don't want a guy with a huge deficiency due to his size that's going to get matchup hunted. And while James Harden doesn't have the quickest feet laterally, doesn't always have the best individual defense, especially on the perimeter. As Brian Shaw was also talking about earlier today, his team defense can be pretty damn good. I'm not going to say it, but the strips he gets, I'm going to reference Justin Rousseau there for a second, was going to reference him. He has quick hands, and he's good in the post, and he's sturdy. You can't move him. I noticed his defense. It was funny. It was in 2020, the first All-Star game after the unfortunate and untimely death of Kobe Bryant, where they dedicated the MVP of the game to him and Kawhi won it. But that game had the new rules in there too. The Elam rules or whatever it was called. So there was a set score you had to get to, and it came down to the very end, and it got really competitive. And I'm pretty sure James Harden at the end of that game, I want to say, was guarding Giannis at times in the post and more than holding his own. Whoever it was, it looked like it would be an easy mismatch, and instead James Harden was pushing a guy around or not getting moved off the block. I was like, okay, this is something new. I haven't seen enough of this from James Harden over the years, but this Clippers team should always have, and we talked about this with Darian Vaziri earlier today from Locked On. I came on with him on Locked On Clippers. He came on with me on Clippers Talk. But they should always have 3 good defenders on the floor. Even when Kawhi comes back, he, Derek Jones Jr., Terrence Mann, and Ivica Zubac should all be in the starting lineup next to Norm, next to James Harden. That makes sense. They have enough scoring power, more than enough there, with Harden, with Kawhi, with Norm, with Zoo, to do damage against starting units. And then we make such a big deal about who's starting, and it's like Norm might get pulled out in the first 5 minutes to then come back with the second unit. With Zubac, something Coach Lewis teased, or let the cat out of the bag a little bit, answering a question over the past couple of weeks, which led everyone to believe that Norm was going to be in the starting lineup. We make too much of a big deal about who's starting when we already know Norm can close out games. The Powell Rangers lineup was elite. I mean, how often did Norman Powell get picked on in that lineup last season where he replaced Terrence Mann with the rest of the starters? I don't remember it happening very often. He was obviously the weakest link defensively. How much did they just expose Norman Powell in those situations where they had one of the best 5-man lineups in the NBA, definitely the best for the Clippers? Let's see. Sista1 says, do you feel we should move on from Kawhi? Honestly, why or why not? Move on how? Who's trading for him right now? What do you think you're getting for him right now? With him being this injury prone. We'll talk about him in a little bit. Yeah, Deca fantastic. He closed with the old starters. That's what I'm talking about. The Powell Rangers lineup. Norm was fine there. So I think they can survive with him and James Harden on the court if Norm commits to playing defense like he can. Same with James. Let's move on to James Harden here. I posted this quote just a little bit earlier because I guess I'll start with this one. So just about 5 days ago, I brought this up. It's James Harden at practice with T-Man, and I took notice of something he said basically about playing more off-ball basketball. And I tried to tell everyone, like, this is the move. This is what you have to do to make sure that he can sustain his high level of play all season long. Listen to this.
Standpoint. Be a basketball player. You know what I mean? Like if they man ball watching, cut for a layup. If not, be ready to shoot. Team-man will have a lot of responsibility of ball handling as well. So for me, just getting comfortable playing off the ball, moving, doing certain things to make our offense fluid and getting guys shots.
That to me made me go, okay, I see what they're doing here. He's talking about T-Man having more responsibility on ball. Well, why would that be? Probably because James Harden's 35. And those on-ball high-usage reps are taxing. They wear you down. We saw it for about a month and a half last season where he didn't look right, didn't have the same amount of bursts. The Clippers went 500. A lot of that was because James didn't look the same. Paul George at times there didn't either. But when they were humming, you can kind of dumb it down to when they were going 26-5 during that run. Yes, Kawhi was exceptional, but James was also playing at such a high level and is the engine of the offense because he's getting them into it. When they suffered and went 500 for about a month and a half, after that, when they looked gassed and DOA coming out of the All-Star break, and even a little bit before that, I think, James Harden didn't look right. So you might have to come and go, or you might somewhat be linked to whether or not James Harden is playing at a very high level. So how do you keep him fresh enough? Other guys have to bring the ball up too. Other guys have to initiate the offense sometimes too. James has to play off the ball also. That will save his legs. That is really smart. I saw all these people, because it ended up getting 16,000 views, this little clip I put up. Not exactly viral, but people were saying, why though? Don't need Derrick Jones Jr. and Man all-ball reps. I told him, Man had run point already. This guy, Taryn. All these people in here, a lot of them at least, were like, what? Why would you do this? Why would you take James Harden off ball where he's at his best? Because he can't do it for 82 games at 35 anymore. It's not going to happen. Not at a high level. And then your offense is going to crater. The bottom's going to fall out. Just having James on the court isn't enough. You actually have to have him feeling good, feeling spry, feeling like he can get past guys, that he can get to his sidestep three, his step back three. So the Clippers are already planning ahead to make sure that they keep James Harden in a good place to where he can be at his best when he's asked to be. The offense will run at its best with the ball in his hands. Believe that. But for him to be at that level where he's got enough gas in the tank to pull it along and to get everybody in motion and setting the table, he can't be worn down. And that is kind of what Brian Shaw was talking about earlier today too. Listen to this as I retweeted the tweet I had earlier with more evidence of James playing off ball from Brian Shaw.
Good. He's been good with it, and I think that one of the things that we're trying to be cognizant of as a staff is not overloading him, and so a lot of situations we're taking him off the ball because teams are starting to bring defenders up and try to wear him down as the game goes on. So we're just kind of feeling out who can bring the ball up and get us initiate the offense and use him a little bit more on the second side.
I'm not saying this is light years. The Warriors have patented that. But I am saying the Clippers are clearly looking ahead. And even if James Harden starts off the first couple of weeks looking fresh and spry and juiced up and blowing past guys and getting downhill, it's not sustainable for the entire season if the ball is going to be in his hands all year. It's not. It's not sustainable. How do you keep a consistent offense? By keeping the engine running warm, but not overheating. That's what you need from James Harden. Jonathan Ing said PG didn't pick up the slack for Harden wearing down. Paul George also during that time looked banged up, and I think he was playing through injury. I don't know this, but I think he was trying to make sure he's in a contract year. He got to his 70 games. He did, but he didn't look right. I think he averaged 18 for a month. More from Jonathan Ing regarding Paul George. Jonathan Ing also handling things for me with somebody saying, hey, give me Bobby Portis and picks for Kawhi. I'll be happy. Throwing PJ. And and send him back to Milwaukee. So just somebody who's unrealistic and has no idea that there's another team you're trading with, and they actually know what's going on with Kawhi, and they know they're not giving up picks and Bobby Portis for him. Like, if you're talking about first round picks, the Bucks, I don't even know how many they have. Like, what picks do they have right now? Kawhi has to, the only chance, I don't even want to talk about, we've talked about this so much ad nauseum. Our friend from Japan said, Norm is not a bad defender, but if the Clippers want to be in the top 5 defense, I think not enough to getting starter level. Well, regardless if Norm is coming off the bench or starting, he's probably playing 30 minutes a night this season. That's how I'm going to put it. We get into these conversations so much about who's starting, and it's probably overkill and over-analysis. Norm played 26 minutes per game last season. Maybe he gets to 30 to 32 this season. Optimus Prime, 1213. How are you doing? I'm okay. I'm feeling a little bit bumblebee-ish, and I won't be able to talk much more. Maybe I'll get off in the next 20 minutes or so. I've hit the main topics, but I have one more for you about Kawhi. Joe Rosenfeld said Paul George said he started pulling away from the team around the All-Star break on Podcast P. I think he said contract negotiations. Yes. You have to be more specific about pulling away from the team. I've listened to all his comments he made since leaving about the Clippers. Optimus Prime said, do you think the Clippers need to make some other moves? Just, could you get more general? Could you? Could you? They need to get a big power forward. I get this every single show. You guys tell me that realistic get it power forward. Let me know who that is. Who are they getting? Who's the guy? Who are they giving up? PJ Tucker for Bobby Portis. What do you mean, Adam? That's the deal right there. I rarely get anything that's remotely realistic when it comes to these trade machine fantasy basketball-like requests for a power forward for the Clippers, who, by the way, has to be able to shoot because he's playing next to Ivica Zubac, and you're completely going to pack the paint offensively, not in a good way. So tell me the power forward. I'm sure John Collins' name will come up since it's been happening for 3 or 4 years. That can shoot also, that's gettable by the Clippers. Anybody have that? No? Mouth agape? Oh, the Kawhi hater is just saying, get anything we can, just move on from him, his injury-prone career. I'd be happy to waive him or buy him out at this point. Sorry, man, that's just foolish as hell. Okay, I'm going with a mute here. Just user timeout for Sista 1, because we have to learn. We have to learn here. Portis is a stretch 4. Great, bro. How are you going to get him? How do you get him? You haven't explained that part. JJ the Boy said James Harden seems to be working on his mid-range. Saw some clips on IG. Yeah. He's hit, I don't know if he did last game, but the 2 games before, he hit a mid-range in each game. The one in San Diego and the one in Seattle. And a little baseline push shot. He's been getting that going. Deca Fantastic said, I'd rather see young guys get a chance before taking on another vet. That's reasonable because you can't really have both. Rocco. You want Rocco at power forward. For whatever reason, it doesn't seem like Coach Lue is the biggest fan with Robert Covington, who, by the way, remains a free agent after having a pretty underwhelming performance with the Philadelphia 76ers last year. You can say he's gettable. They'd still have to clear up a roster spot. Bruce Brown? How are you going to get Bruce Brown, man? Again, you haven't offered anything. Like, what's the trade for Bruce Brown? How do you get him? He just signed a big contract. 2 years, $45 million. He's making $23 million this season. How do you get a guy who's in the prime of his career that is making $23 million? Anybody? No? Just wishful thinking? Just unproductive talk? Deca fantastic. Making a move now before we can see Kawhi's status makes no sense. Completely. This is what I've been telling you guys for over a week. Everyone's saying, well, Zach LaVine's looking pretty good in preseason. Who cares? It doesn't matter if you bring in one of these other guys if Kawhi's not healthy. If Kawhi can't be healthy for a playoff run, you're still not going to be a championship contender, even if you bring in that quote-unquote third piece, missing piece. Let's see when Kawhi starts playing and what he looks like before we either go all in or you're not going to be able to trade Kawhi in this situation. X-Mongo Project said there is no guarantee we can get another Kawhi-level player if we trade him. Let's do all we can with him. It is easy to be bad. Why hurry? I mean, they're certainly not going to be able to get a Kawhi-level player back in the trade. They wouldn't even be able to get back what they got for CP3 from Houston, which at the time didn't look like that big of a deal. They got some solid players and one unknown. Lou Williams, we knew about him. Pat Bev, we knew about him. Montrezl Harrell was kind of a project at that point. Worked out. You're not getting that trade for Kawhi Leonard right now, guys. Hate to break it to you. John Collins. Optimus. Did Megatron just body slam your ass? Like, I just brought this up with John Collins and how we get this all the time. Again, you've offered nothing in regards to specifics and details on who the Clippers are trading. I want realistic solutions and something reasonable. That's what I'm looking for. Not unproductive stuff. I love you, Optimus, and I love the Transformers. I got the poster from the 1986 movie on my wall. Jeremy Mormon brings up something that can get me off this topic. He said, if Mo Bamba starts off shooting hot, can he play some short stints at power forward alongside Zoo like Karl Anthony Towns? No, he can't guard anyone on the perimeter, which he'll be asked to if he's playing the four. No. Easy answer, no. Second answer, hell no. Third answer, do not talk about Fight Club. In regards to Mo Bamba, La Murray had this earlier today, if I can find the damn update. Because he did ask. I don't know who he asked exactly, but he got it. And then I'll talk about what he said about Kawhi Leonard too. Where is it? At La Murray, the NU. Probably should have had this ready beforehand. These are the drawbacks of going live. Nico Batum also talked earlier today. So, La Murray got it straight from the horse's mouth, actually. He spoke with Mo Bamba. And Mo Bamba explained that the knee soreness is a matter of wear and tear and that there's been no discussion of a timetable. The team is hopeful that he can be ready for week 1. There's your Mo Bamba update. I agree with JJ the boy. Enough of the trade talks, especially when you guys haven't even offered an actual trade. You just say, I want this player, but you give no trade. We have an identity with or without Kawhi this year. Let's find out what the team needs and how Kawhi is first before we talk any trades. This isn't 2K. Thank you, JJ the boy. If you were in timeout, I would take you out. I guess the best I can do is put you up on a pedestal right now by having your quote in front of my face here because it was a good one. MKXLNT said, I like the team as is. The lack of options is what makes this Clippers team so fiery. They know they have to be much better defensively to stay in games. Why not the Clippers? Says Adam. Who would you trade besides PJ and Bones for a solid power forward? Who is the power forward? You can't even give me this solid power forward that is realistic. ST said maybe we can trade PJ for Air Bud. Oh, guys, Air Bud had like 5 movies. He can ball a little bit. No. Jonathan Ing said Clippers have zero incentive to be bad because of all the pick swaps and lack of assets. True. Clippers rolling with Kawhi for better or worse because they have zero leverage. Did you hear that? Cali 2025 said people are underestimating how much we could get for Kawhi. He's an NBA champion who still dominates. Maybe you missed this, Cali. He hasn't been able to finish a season in the last 4 years. How much are you getting? He has a $150 million contract. Who's paying that for somebody with his injury history who apparently had surgery back in May and the swelling is almost gone in his right knee, and he still is not practicing with the team, which is one of the updates we got earlier today. You sound clueless, man. How much we could get for Kawhi right now? The Clippers aren't trading Kawhi. Not right now. They couldn't if they wanted to, and I don't think they want to. Kawhi is symbolic for being the first guy to choose the Clippers, to come here to Los Angeles. That's that level of star power. He's preserving himself by not playing in the playoffs. That's not what it is, dude. He's been injured. It's not some scheme. Like, you're clueless. God, why did I read that? You guys are killing me right now. Joe Rosenfeld said trading Bones to Memphis for Aldama, or we target someone like Okongwu from Atlanta. Maybe. I don't think Aldama fixes everything with them. Like, those are the forwards. Okay. X-Mongo Project says, seems like we have a lot of serviceable players, but not much top-end talent. Feels like there will be some consolidating trade happening mid-season. You guys are already talking about mid-season and what you're projecting for that. Mid-season? Some people thought a consolidation trade was going to happen during the offseason, and it still hasn't happened. PJ Tucker and Bones Highland are still on the team. Ray said, crap, I need to turn on notifications for your channel. Yes, you do. What is it on YouTube? A little bell thing? Ray said, but I bet you've talked about the fun interviews after practice today. Yeah, hit the rewind. I got more coming out of practice, though, from Law Murray. Probably got 15 more minutes here with you guys. Tom Rain says, I was big on Luke Kennard. Was his defense the reason he was kind of played off the floor when he was here? That and this, he wouldn't shoot sometimes. Coach Lou benched him for turning down shots. He wasn't aggressive enough. I love Lukey Dookie. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. I thought he was in timeout. Nicholas I said, I told you. This is Kawhi's farewell tour. Doomer. Deca Fantastic said, would anyone take the cat deal for Kawhi? No. What? The cat deal for Kawhi? No. No one's doing it. Ray said, I like Brian Shaw's chat. He was more upfront about what's going on, but there weren't any setbacks or anything surprising. Kawhi in December continues to be a good estimate. Is Brian Seaman? Is Brian Seaman? Is that a question? Is that a statement? Is Brian Seaman? To be or not to be? That is the question. Also, is Brian Seaman? Joe Rosenfeld said, is Brian Seaman funnier with the Czar or Jim Jackson as a pairing? I like him with both, but to be honest, me and Carlo are doing our thing on the radio side, so I don't get to hear as much. Jonathan Ing, Sista, you're going to get timeouted again. You want another timeout? You can't stop blowing up the feed here. You're killing it with your S posts. Jonathan Ing says, Kawhi's contract extension is like Kobe's last contract. May age well, but legacy to the Clippers, yes. Shows they take care of superstars to get more superstars after Kawhi and Harden. Been saying this for weeks now. I think he is symbolic of someone who chose the Clippers. That hasn't really happened before. Everybody wanted Kawhi. Summer 2019, Clippers got him. Mika Ross says, I've been a Los Angeles Clippers fan since Kawhi Leonard joined this team. I get it. He's one of my favorite players of all time, too. Cali 2025 said, I am aware he hasn't played entire seasons like other players of his caliber traditionally do. You didn't sound like it earlier because You were saying that, no, you're underestimating how much you could get for him. We're not just talking about entire seasons, my guy. He's missed an entire season with ACL. And since then, he's done his meniscus in the playoffs. And then before the playoffs even started last season, he had swelling in that same right knee. Sister One says, love you, Adam. I love you too. I love everybody here. You guys seem to like my demeanor with sometimes putting people in timeout and calling someone a casual. It's all in good fun. Jose Cuevo says, we all have to be patient. The year for the moves will be 2026. Enjoy the new arena and the team we have. We'll be fine. Cheers. Loivot lives. All right. Optimistic. 2026. Just wait 2 years, guys. I think people are excited about this year. ST said, I think we might be fine this year as is. There you go. Timothy Albueno's in the chat. Guys, let's wait 20 games and see what we have. You never know what guys become available. Let's see what our young guys can do. There's always this, we got to get better right now. We need another star, but also we got to play the young guys. You can't juggle both those things. Ray said, I'll be at the game tomorrow. The wall will have backup and change for Miller will happen. The wall will have backup and change for Miller will happen. I don't get it. Sister One says, where's Danny Manning when you need him? Another chronically injured Clipper. Micah Ross says, this hates have to stop. Like literally this man been through so much injuries. Like, come on. Yeah. You know who's really frustrated? It's Kawhi, a Hall of Famer, one of the best in his craft in the history of the game. There aren't 10 guys I'd rather have in a 7-game series in the history of the NBA than a healthy Kawhi. There aren't 10. He said Kawhi has been through so much and they still talk S about him, which pisses me off even more. You meant chance. The wall will have backup and chance for Miller will happen. The wall was litty on Monday night. I'm already excited for tomorrow. X-Mongo Project said, what is the opposite or what is opposite the wall, by the way? Normal seats with suites and stuff. Jonathan Ing said, not sure if you drink, Adam, but drinking game for all that John Collins delusions if being able to get substance back for a Kawhi trade. Delusional talk about John Collins and getting substance back for Kawhi will lead you to substance abuse. Is that what you're trying to say? No, I don't. Thank God. What's the line from Airplane? Of all weeks to stop sniffing glue. No, I haven't drank in a couple of years. Better off without it. Better in the gym. Better everywhere else. The best ability is availability. Cool. Thanks for the cliche. Clips for Life said, where do you think Clips will rank defensively this season? I'll tell you where they need to rank if they want to stay out of the play-in. Top 8 defense. They were 8th in the 21-22 season. That team was less talented in every way than this team, and they still ended 8th defensively. Part of the reason was they had Isaiah Hartenstein. They had a legit backup to Ivica Zubac. A real legit backup that somehow got away for John Wall. That I tried to spin it positively. Oh, pain. Yeah, part of it was that, but this team has better defensive personnel than that team did. Will they be as committed? I think so because of Jeff Van Gundy. Brian Shaw said somebody has to be the a-hole. When you're the defensive coordinator, you kind of have to be an a-hole, and then we play good cop because the defensive coordinator is going to be on guys, and that is what Jeff Van Gundy has been doing. Tom Rain said, do you think most fans will embrace PG when Philly comes to town or boo him? I have mixed feelings about it. I think he hurt himself with some of the stuff he said about the B team and being stabbed in the back, or his dad said that, and basically he was on board with it, it looked like. I think it's going to be 60%. No. I think it's going to be 80% boos for Paul George. Tim Hayes says, I'll be at the wall tomorrow. Can't wait. Can't wait to hear you. Joe Rosenfeld said, where are you at with getting Kai Jones for an interview? We need more Kai content. I'll get on it. Micah Ross says, keep up the good work. Renee Z said, I think the team will be fine. Our defense will keep us afloat. This is the hope. Ray said, Adam is a Clipperholic. We wouldn't have it any other way. Any word on who's playing from Sacramento tomorrow? I don't have that for you, but it's game 5 for them too, so might not be a lot of stars out there on either side. Tim A said, did you end up ordering food the other night? Yeah. I tweeted out the picture at Follow Adam A on X. McDonald's. 2 cheeseburgers, fries, an orange Fanta, and 3 chocolate chip cookies. Adam Wick says, guess what drink I found in the service station 300 miles from my house in regional Victoria, Australia, Adam? You were right. It is sensational. Dr. Pepper Cherry Zero is my guess, and it is that good. Carlo 2025 said, I'm not a trade expert. Clearly, dude. Clearly. He said, I'm not a trade expert, but how about Kawhi and Tucker for Sabonis, Fox, and DeRozan? Something kind of similar. You're in timeout. We're all now dumber because of you, Billy Madison type of stuff. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make anyone dumber. It's funny how ridiculous that is, and maybe you're just trolling. I don't know. I'm not a trade expert, but how about Kawhi and Tucker for Sabonis, Fox, and DeRozan? Deca Fantastic said we were all going to boo during the game and maybe cheer during the highlight package only for Paul George. Jamie Marr from Fiji said, Clip Gang, don't bang. What up? Our friend from Japan. I would like to see a 2-way contract for Aldonis Williams. I watched him from college. This is like fate. Williams, there's only one 2-way left is the problem. But I have loved what we have seen from Man Williams the last 3 games in the preseason. You can make the argument he's earned a 2-way. Problem is, Kai Jones has played great, and he's a position of need. 300 meters. I'm sorry. So you didn't go 300 miles for the Diet Dr. Pepper Zero Cherry? Yeah, and it was that. Watching from Georgia, says Micah Ross. Old Dirty Dasher says, bro, I crashed with your show on Monday. Good ASMR. Can you explain what that is to me? I know I read a definition earlier, but maybe in layman's terms, explain it to me like I'm 5. It's like white noise, falling asleep to ASMR. Jonathan Ing said, what's the starting lineup for tomorrow? Ty Lue, I don't remember. I don't think he was asked that today, was he? I mean, that tracks, but I don't think, my guess is Harden's not in it. He might have already said that pregame on Monday night. Yeah, I wouldn't expect to see James Harden. Maybe no Zoo, no Norm. I could see Man playing. Maybe no Derek Jones Jr. because he's been getting a little bit banged up. Micah Ross says, I am praying for my Clippers getting a championship this season because I waited too long for this. Well, Will Updike might say, this is our year. I don't know if everyone else feels like that. Jeremy Mormon said, Adam, would you ever bring on a permanent co-host to help you with Clippers Talk 7 days a week? Is a lot. I'm built for this. I do a lot of interviews, though. I try to bring on relevant, interesting people, but I'm used to talking by myself all the time, and I can go long form all day. Old Dirty Dasher said, did your Taco Bell arrive safely Monday night? Ended up being McDonald's because Taco Bell closed at 1:30 and we were still going. So I had to pivot. Tim A says, is Flowers worth the 2-way? How good is he? I don't know much about him. Trent Flowers is one of the bigger unknowns on this Clippers team. He's talented. He's really tall and can handle the basketball. He's 6'9". I don't know if the comp was Ben Simmons. Let me see if I can see a player comp on him. Because being that tall and being able to handle the basketball, it's special. But he's played overseas. He broke his wrist. We didn't see him at all in the summer league. He was on the Adelaide 36ers last year. That's where I think Montrezl Harrell just was. But he was projected to be a potential first-round pick in the 2024 draft. So the Clippers are shooting for the moon with this. This is somebody with a lot of explosiveness, some playmaking to him. But I got to be honest with you. I'm not as familiar with his game. I'll tell you what Jim Cramer says when someone throws a stock at him that he doesn't know about. He says, I'll do my homework and I'll get back to you about it. So I'll do more of a deep dive on Trenton Flowers because he's healthy now. He's been out for so long. He still hasn't played in a preseason game. Maybe he plays tomorrow night. But he's been out for so long that he's kind of forgotten man. Deca Fantastic said, for power forwards, I want Tobias back, but it's unlikely. Jordan Miller plus PJ Tucker for Tobias. Tobias makes too much, guys. Let me see. What was the deal? Let me see what his last contract. Obviously, the Philly contract, he was making $40 million, but I think he's off of that. So he just got, 2 years, $52 million with Detroit. He still makes too much. He makes $25 million. You're going to have to add something else to that to make it work. Quentin Cornett said, I apologize for calling you an idiot over Kai Jones. Apology accepted. Sometimes I am an idiot. Ray said, ASMR is when people make podcasts with really soft sounds close to the microphone. It puts some people into a trance or state of relaxation. I don't think I could ever achieve this with my annoying voice. Renee Z said, Deca Fantastic, true. He will be cheered during the pregame, Paul George, but once it's top off, once the ball's thrown up, I'm expecting a lot of boos when he gets a touch. Tip off is what he's trying to say, not top off. Ray said, some people dig it. Essentially. Tom Rain said, would love to hear how you earned your way working for the Clippers radio show. Briefly, I can do briefly. Cliff's Notes, Adam's Notes. Worked at AM 570 LA Sports for probably 7 years. Then was the producer for the role I'm in now. That guy ended up leaving after a year. It was James Coe. We're still friends. Talked with Brian Seaman, said I think I'd be good for the job. And he was behind me. Talked with my boss. He was, I think, behind me. It was me and Jeannie Zelasco at first. If you didn't know this, we were on together. It was really, of course, Jeannie being the lead host, and she was nice enough to have me on with her. But then she got called in to do so much TV stuff. I just was the constant fill-in. And so that first season was the 17-18 year where they went 42-40. Had the trade with Blake Griffin for me. They had a 9-game losing streak at one point. Those were difficult times, but they taught me how to tap dance a lot, be able to talk and keep the ball rolling, so to speak. And I love the job, love what I do, love getting to talk with you guys now here on Clippers Talk. Joe Rosenfeld said Trenton Flowers' curling is closer to Dyson Daniels. Ceiling? Oh, he meant ceiling. Guys, please. I know I'm a bad texter and stuff, so I'm as guilty of this as anyone, but if you can get in a little bit clearer of messages, that would help. Renee Z says Tobias just signed with Detroit. Just went over that. Tobias, 52 for 2 years. So, yeah, you were right, Adam. Mike Ross said, I would say someone else over PJ Tucker, probably Danny Finney-Smith. Jaden McDaniels, you're not getting Jaden McDaniels. Jalen? I know. I got you. Wait, you talking about Jaden McDaniels from Minnesota? Or the guy who was just traded from Sacramento? I'm trying to put this one together and having some problems. Yeah, Jalen McDaniels. That is who I think you were talking about. Did he just get to Sacramento, or did he just get cut by Sacramento? He was with Charlotte and Philly and Toronto last year. But guys, this is your answer for power forward? Someone who's averaged 6 points per game and really hasn't gotten consistent minutes or, put it together at the NBA level yet? This is your king? Yeah, I get it. He got cut. He's a free agent. He got waived. Also, what exactly are you looking at for upside here? Okay, I'll say this. He has had a couple of years where he shot above 37% from the outside. Wasn't on high volume, but it's not nothing. Obviously, he had potential. Hasn't flourished yet, you could say. Still just 26. I don't know. Again, how's he getting on? Is he going to be a G Leaguer for this team? Because they don't have any open roster spots, guys. If they did, we'd be talking about Kai Jones getting one of those instead of a two-way. Jonathan Ing said, oh, yeah. Jeannie was on 980 with Marcus Johnson before 980 had to get sold off. The beast. Makes sense why she got brought over to do the Clippers show on 570. Jeannie Zelasco is brilliant. I learned a ton from her. She is one of the sharpest broadcasters ever. I've been watching her since MLB on Fox back in the day on Saturdays with my guy Kevin Kennedy. So he was cut by San Antonio. Again, talk me in to Jaden McDaniels, because I'm not seeing how you can say this is the solution for the Clippers' power forward woes. When Kawhi's healthy, he's likely going to be playing it again. All right. Speaking of Kawhi, I got to get to this. And then we will get out of here. Lastly, we will give you that update on Kawhi Leonard. Brian Shaw, who was speaking today for head coach Tyronn Lue, this is coming from Law Murray, reiterates that Kawhi Leonard isn't working on the floor yet with the rest of the squad. I saw that part of the video too, so it's double sourced. But Law Murray said whenever Kawhi Leonard returns, Norman Powell is expected to retain his starting job. That's something I didn't see or hear from Brian Shaw with what was out there. There was more, though, on Kawhi from Law Murray, who said, here's your Kawhi Leonard update. Same update as last week and the week before that and the week before that. He said, week to week. As I said Monday, Leonard is doubtful for week 1 versus the Suns, Denver, and Golden State. That is what Law Murray is saying. Then he responded to my friend Jamal Christopher, who said, in my opinion, after listening to Om Young Masuk on ESPN talking about Kawhi, saying, quote, with the season opener a week away, I would say it's doubtful that we see Kawhi Leonard there. I've been saying the same thing. Just going off of, well, he's not practicing with the team yet, so there are steps along the way before he returns to the court. And if he's not doing that, I don't see him playing week 1. Jamal Christopher said, in my opinion, this is more digestible if the information coming out was as accurate as it could be when you consider they tried to get him back out on the floor for the playoffs, so the surgery didn't immediately happen and eventually happen. Him not appearing to start the year makes sense. Okay, that was kind of tough to understand. Here's Law Murray saying load management. That's all it is. Been saying for weeks that there haven't been setbacks and no one on the team is concerned, but every time someone asks about practice, it's a new wave of shock reaction. Save time for legitimate shock as it's a long season, my friends. He's calling it load management. So like load management for practice now and not even games? I don't know. This is different to me. Someone responded, and then Law Murray responded to that. Someone said, the person said, wouldn't you say it's not a good sign he hasn't been able to return to on-court work? This doesn't even seem like load management, in my opinion. Law Murray said it is a sign that the Clippers and Kawhi are doing what they said they were going to do, not skipping steps and rushing him back onto the floor for an 82-game season. Their goal is to keep him on the floor when he gets there, not have what happened to him in 2022 or what happened with Marcus Morris in 2021. So, as I've been telling you for a while, overly cautious with Kawhi, who may feel like he's ready to go, and they're probably trying to slow him down because Coach Lue said last week that even if he gets pissed at us, so be it. Why not? The Clippers said, could we play PJ to show what he still has, then trade him like they did Rocco? Playing him might actually lower his value because he doesn't have much. He's not Rocco. He's 39. Deca Fantastic said, team dump at the deadline. Clippers got Norman Rocco for scraps, plus Keon, who was a first pick that year. Yeah, that was a swindling of the Portland Trailblazers. Quentin Cornett said, why wouldn't the Clippers just re-sign Rocco for power forward? He was playing good until we traded him for James Harden. He was. And I like Rocco. But he's available for a reason. He didn't look good last season with Philly at all. Deca Fantastic said Law is plugged in as it gets. X-Mongo Project said that makes sense because I don't see how Norm and KPJ fit together. Guess we're talking about the starting unit with Norm. Tom Rain said, what's the reason Ty doesn't use Tucker, or is there something else going on? Clearly, he's not on the same page with the Clips. I know he's older. I thought he was decent with the Bucks, though. Yeah, that's cool. He played with the Bucks in 2021 and helped them win a championship. I'm not sure if you have watched at all PJ Tucker is a Clipper, or else you wouldn't be asking this. Tom Raines, timeout. Okay, I don't block you for that one. Guys, like, this is some Donnie from Big Lebowski stuff. Like, you have no frame of reference here. How do you not know that PJ Tucker wasn't exactly thriving on the court last season? Did you watch? I love PJ. In his prime, he'd be perfect for this team. Even a little bit past his prime, he'd be perfect for this team. Just where he was 3 years ago, he'd be awesome for this team. He's not there. He's 39. I think he's the second oldest player in the league next to LeBron. And LeBron's a different beast. Of course, he doesn't age. He is father time. That's the only explanation. Deca Fantastic regarding Kawhi says week to week means sooner rather than later, but not day to day, so not immediate. That's how Law's been describing it. I don't think that's official from the Clippers. Correct me if I'm wrong, Law. Deca Fantastic said, request for Adam, a deep dive in Kawhi's injury timeline the last few years when it comes to ramp up to play. I mean, I just did a deep dive on Kawhi and his injury from this last year. Check it out. It's like 3 episodes ago. It was alive in the YouTube live section. Y'all asking to go in timeout too. Jeremy Mormon said, if this is not Kawhi's choice and the Clippers are holding him out, how does the whole Olympic situation make any sense? Well, maybe because Kawhi said my knee is currently in a neutral state and it scared him off. I don't know. I don't know the Olympic situation. I don't get that because obviously if he had surgery in May, that was after that. And then he said at Media Day he was feeling good and working hard before and after the Olympic thing. But doesn't seem like there's any ill will from him. From his side, he said they were happy they got gold and all that. Renee Z said, Jamal is my guy. Glad I got to meet him last season's preseason game against the Nuggets. Jamal Christopher is one of my favorites. He'll be on the show again soon. Oh, thanks. Super chat. MKXLNT donated $10. I really appreciate it. I do. Clippers Talk After Dark Mood Lighting Fund. It is a mood. It's a vibe. Jeremy Mormon says, can't wait for the tell-all documentary after Kawhi retires. Yeah, right. From who? Because Kawhi, we may never hear from again. Renee Z said PJ averaged 2 points. I didn't know it was that many. He did start in Game 6. I don't know if that was some kind of Hail Mary. Looking for anything? Old Dirty Dasher said, this chat sounds like a myopic Lakers fans talk. Just random trade talk. Guys, you're getting called Lakers fans. You know, the type that say, Hashtag future Laker every time somebody has a 30-point game. Anthony Edwards, hashtag future Laker. Luka Doncic, hashtag future Laker. The league's a farm system for us. We're getting everybody. You don't want to sound like that. It takes two teams to make a move. We'll end it with Cali 2025 saying LOL. I love you guys. I want to wind down, watch some stupid television, then go to bed. Big night tomorrow night. Intuit Dome Part 2, Game 2, Game 5 of the preseason, the finale of the preseason before things are real. Next Wednesday, October 23rd, when they tip off against the Phoenix Suns in Game 1 of the regular season. Is that ASMR for you? Is that the abbreviation even? I can't remember. Is it ASMR? I feel like I'm talking about something dirty, and the joke's on me. Like, I don't understand what that abbreviation could actually stand for. And I'm going to end up looking it up at Urban Dictionary later, and you guys made a fool of me. Not before I make a fool of myself. No one makes me fool my own blood or bleed my own blood. Renee Z said 2 to tango. Yeah, in trades. MKX LNT said time for donuts after dark. Be good, Clipper Nation. Ray said appreciate you, Adam. I'll try to say hi. Come say hi. We're in section 25. You can see us. Big Media Row. Old Dirty Dasher said, what are you binge watching right now? What the hell have I been watching? There's something called the Elm Street Files or something on HBO, which is real stories of places that have an Elm Street and they're horror stories. So it's kind of weird and spooky and good for the Halloween season. So it's been described as unsolved mysteries, but solved mysteries on Elm Street. I don't know if they're all nightmares. I think they might be. Deck of Fantastic. I can't help myself. You guys keep talking in here and I keep reading them. ASMR. Deck of Fantastic said Jordan Miller and Kobe Brown about to go off. Let's go Clips. Kobe Brown's my player to watch tomorrow. I'm doubling down. I had him last game. I'm doubling down. I think he plays 20 minutes at least tomorrow. Sergio Martinez said the Kings are 0-4 in the preseason. Hopefully we get the win tomorrow. Yeah, hopefully everybody stays healthy and there's some good process. Our Japanese friend said good night. Thanks for the talk. And ASMR LOL. Jonathan Ing said 2 to tango unless you are the Matt. This is out of pocket. Jonathan Ing said 2 to tango unless you are Magic Johnson giving us Zoo out of the blue for Clipper legend Mike Muscala. Ending with that. Appreciate you guys. This has been another edition of Clippers Talk After Dark. We will be on tomorrow night on the radio side and pregame and postgame right back here on Clippers Talk on YouTube. Make sure to check out the over an hour-long interview we did earlier today with Darian Vajiri, dime dropper from Locked On Clippers. One of my favorite episodes in a bit here. So if you missed me, get to that right after this. We will talk tomorrow. I promise. I think if I make it through the night, even though I'm watching this crazy show, The Nightmare on Elm Street reality story.